Aloha. I'm really glad you could make it. I want to talk to you today about Shiatsu. Shiatsu is the Japanese word for finger pressure. And actually, what it is the pressure application of appropriate fingers and hands on the body in a long revered method that for centuries has helped people to alleviate stresses, aches and pains of various sorts, and indeed aided in the remedy of a myriad of injuries. Now, I know this sounds like a mouthful, but let's break it into some simplicities. Bear in mind now that chronic ailments and serious injuries do warrant the treatment and attention of a qualified physician or chiropractor. However, some basic techniques in Shiatsu can help you in a lot of beneficial ways, just as they've done for me. You know, Shiatsu has been practiced for centuries, beginning with the ancient Chinese. And indeed, while the Japanese are credited with refining it to its present form, nonetheless, we find that even today, still, it's practiced very widely all over Asia. I remember my first introduction to Shiatsu. It was when I was a teenager, and I had developed a very bad acute case of tendonitis in my wrist. It was from hammering on 2x4s all day long, and my father sends me to this Shiatsu master named Mr. Noguchi. He proceeded to massage and manipulate the tendons all the way from the top of my forearm and through both sides of the wrist. And believe it or not, several days later, even though it was still a bit sore, I was able to wax on and wax off again. Just kidding, but seriously, Shiatsu has been my very good friend over the years from time to time. And you know what? Let's go up to the house because I want to share some of that friendship with you. This is my friend Tarwin. And as you can see, she is lying on a professional portable massage table, the kind used ordinarily by chiropractors and masseurs and the like. And we've just, while it's well padded all over, we've just simply covered it with a couple of towels for a little bit more comfort. I'm going to take just a minute here to put on the old hachimaki because I want to tell you, you work up a sweat when you do this. It's a great workout procedure, by the way. My experience has always been that Shiatsu is kind of like love. It has to be given freely, sincerely, and unconditionally. Now, for the sake of simplicity, we've divided our demonstration up into 5 parts, and we always begin at the back. Now, we're going to refer to this area throughout our demonstration as home base. We'll be coming back to it many times. Home base is, generally speaking, between the shoulder blades and about 4 vertebrae below this big knobby one that we all have, okay? We always have to be cognizant of the amount of pressure that we place, the pace we set, and from time to time we use either the entire hand or the heels of the hand, sometimes only the heel of the thumb or the heel of the pinky, and mostly we use the thumbs. So here we go, we begin at the top of the back. We're going to first work those parallel muscles that go up and down the spine, you know, north and south and directly adjacent to the spine. These are called erector spinae, but we're not going to use that kind of language much here. This is a family show. Notice we're simultaneously working on both sets of muscles, and the thing to remember is go nice and easy, very steady, and never press directly on the bones. To repeat, we've started at the top of the back, and as we move down, we utilize some definitive thumb positions, which are between the muscles and the spinal column. I want to point out here that Shiatsu should never be given with long fingernails. Also notice that about every 1.5 inches or so, you'll find a little well between the ribs, and this is where we affix our point of focus. Now, breathing is very important on the part of both the giver and the receiver. Shiatsu is best when both people are in sync. And generally speaking, when I press down, I exhale, and as I raise up, I breathe in. Simultaneously, she should be doing the same. And this is the kind of rhythm that we both try to maintain. Down here in the middle of the back, we press down with a little bit of a rotation that seems to energize the entire area there. And I'm simply using the flat of the thumb, and the general rule for amount of pressure to apply is if recipient ever says, "ow," you're pressing too hard. Now, those of you who know Shiatsu, however, may well want a deeper massage. Please note that when I approach the tailbone or coccyx, my thumbs draw together, and I end up with my thumbs one atop each other, which sort of signifies the finish off of this segment. Let's make another pass. We come back up, and notice now the placement of thumbs are between each rib, but to the outside of those two parallel muscle sets. When we approach the middle of the back, we always feel it soften up, and at the same time here, as I push down, I also push inwards, down and inwards at the same time. And here we feel the top ridge of the pelvic bone, and there's a kind of an indentation that forms a natural V, and that draws the thumbs together and leads to the tailbone. Now, while we're doing this entire process on a professional table, Shiatsu is usually done on the floor with a nice padding between the receiver and the floor, of course. And boy, does this feel good. I know. I've suffered from lower back problems myself from time to time, like many of you folks. And this process truly helps to relieve and counteract my pain. Indeed, many back problems can be traced to the sciatic area, and they can occur from time to time from excessive lifting or lifting in the wrong way, poor posture or body mechanics, or just plain neglect. And Shiatsu is great for the whole family. You ought to check it out. Here we go, back to home base. And I'd like to say that any part of Shiatsu, the application of same, can be applied for as long or as deeply as necessary, depending upon the need of the recipient. And for the purposes of our demonstration, we're always going to come back to home base. And let's just say that this now completes our first section. Let's go on to segment 2, the pelvis and the lower limbs. This area that I'm working now houses the sciatic nerve system. And it starts and indeed feeds the leg's entire blood and nervous system. It emerges finally to the foot near the ankle. Now, I'm told, but I don't experience this because of being of the male gender, but this is the move now that does much to relieve menstrual cramps. There's a depression in the buttock area where the heel of the hand fits nicely into, and you give it a gentle rotating move thusly, all the while sort of pushing the buttocks in towards each other. We do the legs pressing with the heels of the hands straight downwards and never lean on the direct area in back of the knee. It's very sensitive. And these sets of muscles are called the biceps femoris, the semitendinous or semimembranous. You and I know them as the hamstrings. They start at the top of the big bone here, called the femur. And they converge to a place just above the back of the knee. Along the lines I've drawn, we'll do Shiatsu in 4 or 5 places, just like this. Then we do the same with the inside line. Now we're going to progress to the calf. A nice, soft but firm rotating press and rub. And we work our way in a direct line with the Achilles tendon. This feels great, especially for you runners and athletes. You take it at the base of the calf and give it a little pinch move, rotate your thumb and forefinger, and literally knead it. And the place where it attaches to the heel bone, we give it a nice, gentle little rub. Raise the foot. We want to give the feet all the attention they deserve. People who stand long hours on their feet, construction workers, ballet dancers, people who wear high heels, grape stompers, you can all truly appreciate this. It's been said that your feet are your roots to the earth. The original Shiatsu masters discovered that certain important points on the foot may be directly related to other parts of the body. And acupuncturists take advantage of this bit of knowledge in their approach to their treatment. A little rub here, working the outside muscle of the shin bone. Oh boy, feels great. A bit of a shake. Straighten the leg, and I tell you what, I want to do this again for you. We rotate the feet in a couple of circles in either direction. We stretch the entire toes area by pressing down thusly, and we stretch the top of the foot muscles and tendons by pushing the heel towards the buttock without extending or hyperextending the knee. This move is not doable or comfortable for everyone. You want to push down just enough to where you begin to feel some resistance coming back at you. And now with the heel of the hand, we roll along this long muscle that's on the outside of the shin bone. And then with the thumb, I like to find a sensitive spot just between the heel and the ankle itself, and you press there gently against the bone. It feels pretty good. We massage the arch in 3 or 4 spots, beginning with the heel up to the point that's directly below the balls of the feet. Now, you don't want to fool around with this area too much because they're very, very sensitive. Grabbing the toes and gently pinching them individually feels terrific. I like to do a little rotation, and then as we lift the leg slightly, we give the entire foot a nice little shake, and we walk back up the leg and proceed to do the same thing to the other side. For expediency, we're going to assume we've shiatsu'd this leg, so at the end of the entire treatment of the legs, we give a nice little tug on the feet pulling towards me, and we work our way back up. With this, we can say that we're back at home base. This ends this segment. We'll continue on from here to the shoulders and the arms. I must emphasize that all during a shiatsu concentrate on keeping both hands on the recipient. It's very comforting and reassuring. The first key place to find in this shoulder area is a point perpendicular to the vertebra and about 4 vertebrae below. Right in here is where we're going to go for. You find a big flat area between the scapula and the vertebra, and you simply press straight down. Give it a couple of beats of pressing. Now you'll notice I'm not grabbing anything, I'm just applying pressure. And we proceed to the scapula itself, or as I call it, the wing bone. This is a very sensitive area, but it feels good if you just kind of press directly into it for a beat or two. And we proceed to the arm itself. Between the wing bone and the arm, right in the deep under part of the socket, there's a very soft space, and pressing the thumb deep in there feels terrific. Give that a couple of little pushes, and then we work the upper arm. We all have this like a funny bone feeling nerve that's between the bicep and the tricep and rests directly along the big arm bone called the humerus. You press that too hard, it ain't so humorous. So just kind of give it a nice little gentle massage. Simultaneously, do one side with the thumb as you massage along the inside area that encases the artery with the forefingers, helps to rejuvenate the entire upper arm. We proceed by rotating the arm to lie inward, and we do a little bit of a heel roll, gently working towards the wrist. You can tell when you've hit it good because the fingers will flex at you as you apply some pressure. Next, I grasp the wrist and hand with both sets of my relaxed forefingers. Then I do a little bit of a stretch maneuver by spreading the hand down and working outward. Not real hard, gingerly. And then along the lifeline, we run the edges of our thumbnails. This feels so good. The hands are known to be related to other parts of the body, much like the feet that we talked about earlier. I'm sure you people who work a lot with your hands will appreciate this shiatsu. This whole thing feels so good, I'm going to repeat this for you. We press into the points at the top of the pinky heel and at the top of the thumb heel. We proceed by giving each finger a slight pull as we massage each little segment between the knuckles of each digit, and the little pinch on the end of the fingertip tells the body that this limb is done. I'm going to give a little tug here, and with the hand over the head we stretch the latissimus dorsi with a very slight lift as I push down between the wing bone and the spine. Then I like to grasp the entire arm with both my hands and give just a little bit of a pull and a shake, and place the arm back where it started. Give a couple of reassuring placement moves here, and then come to the other side. And again, for expediency, you want to make sure this arm doesn't get jealous, so you want to do everything for it that you did for the other one. And from here, we'll move on. We're going to begin this segment back at home base. We're going to do the upper shoulders, the neck, and the skull, the entire cranial area, and it shouldn't take but a very few beats. To find our application point area, the thumbs are positioned between the vertebra and the scapula about here, and I work towards the head, and I push down here and inward as if I'm pushing this area towards the heart with my thumbs. And I'm really right on top of the shoulder blades themselves. I push gently but straight in and away from myself. People have asked me, how often do I use shiatsu and why do I do it? Well, I try to use it once a week whenever I can. I find that it helps me to stay in better touch with my overall physical self. Okay, now notice the spine twists along with the neck, which it's supposed to with our entire thumb, the side of the neck facing us, and feel our way right up to the base of the skull where we find two important spongy areas or points. One right about in here, you can feel it, and the other one a little more towards the back. These are very soft areas, and these 2 points begin the treatment by all knowledgeable shiatsu people, like my friends, the namikoshis in Japan. And it's addressed first from the back of the skull and then completed by massaging next the temple area. Now in here is a slight depression that rides the top of the jawbone and leads towards the top of the ear. And then beyond that, you will massage more of the cranium itself. And in this vortex of the temple, you don't want to press too hard ever, but rather use a little gentle rolling pressure as we work our way away from the eyeball socket, up the side of the head towards the ear. And we do it again. And then right above the ear, there is a trail of nerves, and I take the entire thumb and gently ride those nerve paths a couple of times. And then we're going to end this by doing what I call a forehead to the back of the skull press. We just use the heels of the hands as if you were trying to press them inwardly towards each other. Now at this point, you help the recipient turn by placing one hand under the neck itself, lifting and helping the head rotate to its other side. And then once more, we'll start the same way at the top of the shoulders. Feel the neck portion of the spine do its little twist thing, and alongside there, use the thumbs and gently work again towards the base of the skull. Remember not to grip the neck. I'm just placing the forefingers underneath and strictly with the thumb itself, doing these moves, pressing upwards into the skull, and then we feel for the soft spot, just like we did the other side. And then we're going to finish off the treatment by working the temples. We're going to do a couple of passes. Work the little trail of nerves on the side of the head. And then into the forehead to the back of the skull pressure. Now, with the magic of the camera, we're going to snap our fingers so we can tear one over and address our last segment. Magic. I begin the entire frontal area with first a bit of a gentle neck stretch. I cup the heels of my hands lightly over the ears, and then with my forefingers I feel the base of the neck where the vertebra comes into the head itself, and I pull lightly upwards and rotate towards myself. Then we do a nice stretch for the shoulders by pushing directly away from me using the heels of the hands only. Then, with the thumbs placed in the soft area between the pectoral muscles and the shoulder bones, I press down, and that stimulates the artery that feeds the heart. Nice, even, gentle press, and we progress to the rest of the body. Now bear in mind that from this frontal position you can work the arm and the forearm, and indeed stretch the hand just the way we did before, in case we missed it when the recipient was face down. We can do all that business from this position. Please do all those same wonderful things we did before to both limbs. I know Shiatsu will be new to most of you, but don't be afraid to apply some pressure. Simply start lightly at first, and then you can learn how much pressure to apply by experimenting with your recipient. And because only Shiatsu experts can treat the inner organs through some very precise pressure points within the abdominal cavity, we are going to skip this area and move directly to the legs. We do the quadriceps massage by using the balls of the hands and rubbing from the top all the way down the outside of the leg towards the knees. Right here at the knee, we do a little alternating rub using the inside second knuckle of the forefingers. We do the same rub along the knee itself. And then next, we're going to grab the foot and turn the entire leg inward and give that long outside muscle along the shin bone several rolling rubs, then a few presses like this. We'll do the same thing for this other side. And lastly, we will grasp the toes and then turn them inward towards each other and give a little bit of a stretch as we hold for a beat or two. After a good shiatsu, I always like to help my recipients up because by this time they're usually out of it. Upsy daisy, how was that, Tarwin?
Got me convinced.
Danny, what happened? You look lousy, man.
Feet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Too much golf.
I had to quit.
Oh. Okay, but put the foot up. Put the foot up on the other thing like that and grab it from the outside. And then with your thumb, find one little spot between the ankle and the heel there.
Okay.
Nice, huh? Self-shiatsu, folks. It works. It's wonderful. And everything that we demonstrated early on is applicable to self-shiatsu, except, of course, for the back area, which is very difficult. Now, grab the toe and rotate it. Go one way and then the other.
Good.
Help! Say, what's the matter?
I'm getting too old for this martial arts.
I could have told you that.
Oh, that's horrible.
Kids are killing me.
Yeah.
Hey, you fix this for me.
No, you're doing fine, Just grab him right there. Another great example of self-shiatsu, folks, okay? That's it. And where it hurts, just press in there. Press in there. Get on, boy.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a lot of fun with this. Watch. Good.
Feels good. Yeah. What do you think? Who needs them? Bye. Good, huh?
Boy, is this gorgeous?
Beautiful.
Did we get lucky with the sunset? and
Golden.
everything? Only in Hawaii. Well, I hope that you enjoyed our shiatsu demonstration. I certainly enjoyed sharing my knowledge of it with you. Look, and like I did with you, share your shiatsu secrets with all your friends and all your family, because they're going to enjoy it as much as you did. For a fuller idea of what a shiatsu treatment is all about, look up a reputable shiatsu practitioner in your area. More advanced shiatsu approaches and techniques are all going to be covered in my next tape. And finally, thank you, the viewer, for taking an interest. I hope you'll find that shiatsu, as it's done for many, many times for me, will enhance the quality of your everyday well-being. Aloha.
Air travel consideration by Hawaiian Airlines. We are Hawaiian.